Wednesday, March the 20th, 8:38 a.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. You know, I spent the wee hours of this morning, like 1:30 in the morning to about 3:30, reading this court judgment. State of New York versus Donald Trump. You know, this high fine or high penalty he's been assessed. And, you know, I'm not an attorney, but I'm not a dumbass either. I think Judge Engeron has made some errors in this case. And I'm going to talk about what I think here, okay? In the summary of this court's finding, he makes reference to the fact this penalty or fine is being assessed because of interest that Trump was able to save by overinflating his assets. Okay? Now, here's a test question, and I've looked on the internet at some of these other states. Well, what is the maximum fine? Most states have maximum of fines. Okay? Some states even have maximum fines for first-degree murder, second-degree murder. So what is the maximum fine in the state of New York allowed? Well, if you look at what the judge said in that court finding, it's the banks that got cheated. The banks should have collected more interest. Well, why is the money? The New York State don't deserve the money. It would be the banks. If this penalty fine holds up, or any, you know, form of it holds up on appeal or whatever the final decision here is, it's not the state of New York. You see how this looks? I mean, a state has to have there has to be a maximum penalty, right? You can't have a state turning a case, pursuing a case which would in effect, you know, you're talking about $500 million. It turns it into a cash cow for the state. But in the judgment, it clearly says it's the banks paid too low, you know, they charged too low of interest. Well, it was the banks that took the risk. Shouldn't they be the ones getting this money, if you believe what this guy says? Okay, now here's the other thing that I would suspect a higher court may ask, because I mean, I don't know. There's no complainant in this case. There was no complainant. There was no group, no person who filed a complaint. What I mean by that is, what triggered this case? What triggered it? Was it a Trump not paying his taxes in New York? Not paying his taxes in New York City? Don't think so. Was it a non-payment of a loan? Don't think so. Was it a bankruptcy filing? Don't think so. So what triggered this? We know what triggered it. A person with a personal stake who campaigned on this. So what I'm saying is, let's just assume that Trump did do what he's alleged, and he overinflated his assets, yet he was able to obtain loans from a bank. Well, how's that? You know, so that happened. Yet this court is not holding the banks responsible whatsoever. They didn't have to do any due diligence. It's Trump is the one being held, responsible. And this went on for how long? So there's no regulatory body for big loans. Now, I don't know what dollar value you want to put on. $100 million loan, for example. Loans that goes out for over $100 million. There's no check and balance in the process. There's nobody in the New York government or you know what I'm saying? Like a watchdog that says, oh, okay. And they look, and they say, okay, everything looks good. We don't see any fraud. You see what I mean? This is not, New York State evidently, they don't catch this stuff near real time. But this case looks like it's, this is turned into a cash cow scenario for the state of New York. But yet the only thing the state of New York is out on this case is court costs. Well, that didn't cost $500 million. And what is the maximum fine? You see, this water sort of got under this bridge on this case. Trump paid these loans back. He paid them back. If he would have defaulted on these loans, it would be a different ballgame, in my opinion. So now you're going to ad hoc go back and say, oh, you did this. But you paid the loan back. So we're going to say you owe this. Oh, but you don't owe it to the banks. You're going to pay this to the state of New York. Well, the state of New York hasn't lost any money other than a court case. So I see there could be some problems here, It's like, okay, this is a fine or a penalty. This is not damages. This is not damages. There's no complainant that has filed in this suit for damages. This Judge Engeron has sort of created a shadow victim here. And he's named it the state of New York. And I don't think that's right. That's going to conclude the video.